What up guys, it's Bobby, and a few of you have been asking for lunch meal prep. Something you can take on the go that you don't have to heat up. And you know I'm gonna hook you up and it's gonna be healthy, easy to make, but most importantly, hella delicious, because we are making my curry chicken salad. Oven roasted chicken thighs shredded and tossed with a Mac Daddy curry sauce, finished with herbs, nuts, and grapes. And ponzu queijo, Brazilian cheese rolls that are made in the blender in 25 minutes and seriously legit. So if you're tired of the bland, boring meal preps that are out there, you might wanna subscribe to my channel because we're rocking out new meal preps full of flavor every Friday morning. In front of me, I have my all-time favorite cut of chicken, bone-on, skin-on thighs. They do have slightly more fat than chicken breast, but they have a ton more flavor. So I'm gonna season these guys with a little bit of salt, and then crack over some pepper, and then flip them over and hit up a little more salt and pepper. I'm preheating my oven at 400 degrees, but if you did wanna do these with chicken breast, I would highly recommend buying bone-on, skin-on breasts. It's gonna have a ton more flavor and be a lot juicier than boneless, skinless. Those will dry out in the oven so easily. Now let's pop these guys in the oven for 1 hour. While the chicken's in the oven, we can get started on this Mac Daddy curry sauce by preheating a nonstick pan over medium heat. I'm gonna drizzle in about a tablespoon of olive oil, and then go in with a third of an onion that's been finely chopped, and then immediately grab some salt and pinch in about a quarter teaspoon, and then a few cracks of pepper. We're gonna let the onions cook and soften up for a couple minutes. Then we'll add some aromatics to the pan in the form of garlic and ginger. But in case you haven't seen my favorite way to peel ginger, which I boast and show off to you guys all the time, I buy the fresh ginger root here, and then I take a spoon and I use that to peel the skin. That works a lot better than a vegetable peeler. Then I grab my microplane and I grate it. And the ginger is really tough and fibrous, and I like using the microplane because all the fiber stays on the top side. But when I flip this guy over, you see all the grated pulp comes through on that side. So all in all, I need about 1.5 teaspoons. If you guys haven't bought one of these yet, I'll put a link to this guy down below in the description box over on Amazon, because I only use it like every video and every recipe. Now let's add 3 cloves of garlic that I finely minced, and the grated ginger. As soon as you put that ginger in the pan, dude, aromatherapy city in the kitchen. I love that smell. We're only gonna cook that for about a minute because ginger burns quickly, and then we're gonna go in with my favorite curry powder. Now this is Muchi curry powder. It's high in turmeric, so it has a nice bright yellow color, and later on for our curry sauce or curry mayo, it's gonna be bright yellow. If you can't find this one, to add turmeric powder, it's gonna brighten up the color of your curry sauce later on. So go ahead and add 1 tablespoon to the pan, and then stir it in. Oh, dude, immediately it smells like my favorite Indian restaurant here. And here's the deal, y'all. I see a lot of jabronis out there who just dump curry powder directly into the mayo. That ain't cool, okay? To actually extract all the flavor, you have to toast or bloom the essential oils in the curry powder, and cooking them in a hot pan with fat is the only way to do it. Don't skip this step, because later on your curry sauce is gonna be straight out of Mumbai. Delish tasting, y'all. After a couple minutes, let's splash in about 1/4 cup of low sodium chicken stock. That's gonna make it nice and saucy and really get everything going. I'm gonna cook that for just 1 minute until it reduces a little bit. In the meantime, since I've been hitting some of your best requests recently, let me know what you wanna see coming up in the future. I am open to all suggestions, so leave a comment below and let me know what you wanna see. All right, after another minute of cooking the sauce, this is what you want it to look like. I'm gonna take this off the heat and move it aside. And then say hello to my little friend. Chopper Jr. is gonna make this sauce for us. Let's add 1 cup of low-fat mayo. And then to amp up the flavor, I'm gonna grab a lime, and before I juice it, I'm gonna do my favorite thing in the world, zest about half into here. Just use the same zester as before. Then cut the lime in half and add the juice of half. Then squeeze in 1 tablespoon of agave nectar. You could also use honey or maple syrup, but I love the agave nectar because it's lower on the glycemic index. Pinch in 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a couple cracks of peps, and then I'm gonna grab the curry mixture over here. It's kind of important to let it cool down for about 5 minutes because you don't want it to break or melt the mayonnaise when you add it to the food processor. Slap on the lid and blend away, my friends. All right, now check out the color, you guys. That is just vibrant mandala-like yellow. I absolutely love that. All right, you guys, it's been 1 hour exactly, and chicky, check that chicken out. Golden brown, that skin is crunch-tastic, and look how juicy that meat looks. The next step is shredding these guys like Wolverine, but I do have to let them cool down just a couple minutes, otherwise I will burn my hands off. Next up, let's make the Brazilian pão de queijo, which my Brazilian buddy Sergio taught me years ago. They are gluten-free, the best cheese breads I've ever had, and all the work is done in Blender McGee, making this the easiest recipe ever. Let's start by cracking 1 egg in the blender carafe, then add half a cup of veggie oil, then 1 cup of whole milk. Don't be trying to use skim milk for this one. You gotta use the real deal whole milk. And then we have to grate a little bit of cheese. I'm using my favorite Pecorino Romano cheese. Let's grate 1 cup of it. One more really good thing about this cheese is that it's aged. So a lot of the fat is gone because it evaporates. So it's much lighter than like mozzarella or provolone. Pop the lid on and let's just blend it for about 20 seconds or so. Let's pop the lid off of this guy and then go in with half a teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. Now, what makes this recipe super Brazilian is we're using 1.5 cups of tapioca flour, AKA tapioca starch. It's gluten-free, it's like ubiquitous across Brazil. Yucca root grows like crazy down there. I'll leave a link down below over on Amazon in case you can't find it. So pop the lid back on the blender here, put the machine on the lowest setting, and then take the top off the lid, and we're just gonna feed Blendy McGee here the tapioca flour 1 spoon at a time. Now the cool thing about doing this in the blender is that it's obviously easier, but towards the end of adding the tapioca flour, you're gonna hear the blender start to kind of stiffen up and work a little bit harder. That way you know the batter is done and it's thick enough. All right, the jet engine has successfully landed. The batter is done, and it's rare that I make something in this kitchen and my paws don't even get dirty. So I have a mini muffin tin. I seem to be using this a lot lately. I greased it a little bit with some nonstick spray, and then I'm gonna fill them all the way to the top. My 24 soldiers of joy are ready. Let's pop them in a 400-degree oven for 25 minutes until golden brown. Let's peel off the skin on top. That was just protecting the meat, making it really juicy. And whatever you do, don't eat this because it's really fatty and high in calories. It's not good for you. So save it. I'm gonna send it over here because you don't want to eat it. I want to eat it. And then use a fork and just pull all of that luscious, dark, tender meat right off the bone. Look at that. How crazy juicy is that? Boneless, skinless chicken breast, they ain't gonna work for this, guys. You gotta use the bone on, skin on, because it's gonna be crazy flavorful. And just for good measure, I wanna take a knife and run that through the chicken to make sure everything's nice and fine and shredded. Quick quality control. There ain't no rotisserie chicken you can buy at the grocery store as money as this. Let's transfer the chicken to a big bowl. Now, while the chicken is still hot, I'm gonna grab the curry sauce, and you wanna add it because that way the chicken is really gonna soak it up and marinate and get all the flavor of the curry into it. And then go ahead and give it a good mix. Get that curry sauce all up in that chicken's business. Now, this is looking legit. You could stop here and it would be awesome, but I wanna gild the lily even more and put a bunch of toppings to make this over the top. I'm gonna grab a couple tablespoons of chopped and toasted walnuts, some green onions that are finely sliced, a 1/4 cup of celery that's been sliced, some red grapes that have been quartered. Now you guys know I'm a sucker for crunch, and these guys are not only gonna be crunch-tastic in the salad, but they're gonna be sweet. You could always use raisins and that'll work just fine. A couple tablespoons of fresh parsley, and then a big old squeeze of lemon juice to wake up all the flavors. Give it one last mix up, and then we'll check it for seasoning, which is just an excuse to eat while you're cooking. If you bring this to work for a cold lunch that doesn't have to be heated, your coworkers are gonna be jonesing for a little bite of that because that is creamy, juicy, rich, popping from the walnuts, popping from the grapes. So good, I love that. All right, the cheese puffs took exactly 22 minutes, and either they are really excited to see me or they rose and are looking perfectly done. We should probably taste one and do a little bit of quality control. Let's grab this guy, and this is my favorite part. When you pull these open, there's a cavernous cave just waiting to be filled with good stuff in there. You guys, crazy good, cheesy, soft, pillowy clouds of deliciousness. These are done, the chicken's done. Let's build our meal prep containers for the week. Glass meal prep containers in hand, lunch meal prep on fleek in front of me. Let's grab a big healthy scoop of the curry chicken salad, put that in the container, and then maybe 3 of these ponzu keju should do the trick. All 5 meal prep containers are done and ready to go with you to work or to school. Now let me show you my favorite way of eating this guy. So grab one of the ponzu keju, then pop it open like this, and just stuff that right in there because it's aching to be stuffed. You guys, cheesy, pillowy, juicy chicken. This is the ultimate lunch. And when it comes to storage and reheating, the cheese rolls can be kept at room temperature in a Ziploc bag for about 7 days, or you can pop them in the freezer for 2 to 3 months. The chicken salad can stay in the fridge for 5 days, or you can freeze that also for 2 to 3 months. So there it is, a lunch meal prep like a boss, on the road, no microwave, no problem. The recipe is down below. Check it out, leave a comment, share the video, subscribe to my channel, and if you want to see 2 more awesome meal preps, you check out the videos below me right now. But I got more eating to do. You've got some recipes to be cooking. Keep on cooking.